Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, so happy International Astrologer's Day. Heck yeah. That's huge. While we're on the topic, so I've known this for a little while, but like, you don't really get to say it out loud because like people get upset because their green beer must be laced with crack or something. But like St. Patrick was the dude responsible for like laying waste to the entire Druid community and the vast majority of pagan people. So I don't celebrate that day, but I, however, got a very different feeling in my heart. That was almost like an onset of just my Gemini moon is like, this is disgusting. You just get mushy. Like you just get a little more puddly inside. And you just start being a little bit more, I don't know what you want to call it. Like, loving on the animals. Just being more affectionate, being more open, nurturing, definitely. But that's, I guess that's not for everybody. But that's how I felt starting on Friday. It's just really nurturing. Like ridiculous. Even my kids were like, well, like, Jesus, Mom. Okay, so like, not necessarily just a little bit more attentive, like receptive, I want to say, to those undercurrents of emotions from others. So like just that undercurrent, where all of a sudden I'm like, hey, did you want to blah 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 blah, and they just look at me like, and I'm like, well, blah 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 happened the other day and I was wondering if blah 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 blah, that type of thing. So that might be my archetypal feminine Scorpio Persephone kicking into with all that. It's spring is hitting hard. It's hitting hard. I went outside on Saturday and I was like, the day and the night were just almost balmy. It was glorious. So, yeah, it's kind of getting to that point where it's going to be hard to keep me indoors. So, but, I'll be here. It's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, I don't personally celebrate that day, and I never will. But I did. Oh, who said it? The astrology podcast. Oh God. They're never gonna see this. The dude that's usually on there, not Chris, but the other guy who does the monthly forecast. Super cool guy. I mean, speaks very poetically, very beautiful spoken person. Just like, just poetry oozes out of his mouth. But he was saying that like instead of having Valentine's Day, which was a really in astrological terms was a very turbulent time, like they were like, on this day you are going to have a fight. And there have been a few instances where like the 14th, even though like it was supposed to be nice, like, yeah, like it was just the air was tense on a few occasions and I was like, this is some weird, what the hell. And then the next day it was fine. It was weird. So yeah, I can see where that comes in. So and he's the one who suggested that we make Valentine's Day St. Patty's Day instead. And I'm totally for it. If we could remove the freaking saints for those holidays, that'd be great. And just, make them, this is lovey-dovey day. This is don't talk to anybody day. How about we just do that? Why can't we have that? Why we got to make it about a deity or a saint or a person? Why do we have to worship people? Why do we have to have holidays for people? Why can't we just like celebrate movement? Like I'm like Martin Luther King Day. I kind of want to keep that one. That's kind of huge. Because in a way, he didn't just advocate for African American rights. He advocated for a lot of people's rights. That being the vast majority of the financially disadvantaged people. Is that politically correct enough? I don't know. He did a lot of work for that movement. And we, unfortunately, only attribute it to 13% of the population, where it's like, it's up in the 50s right now. And so that needs to be taken into account. We don't have a JFK Day either, do we? We should have a JFK Day. That guy was trying to get us financially stable and off the banking system. And then, people who actually make positive change. He was a slut and slept around with everyone. So was Mr. Junior. So, right, where do you separate the people from the work they did? Hence why we're at cancel culture. You must be perfect in the way I think you should be, or you're canceled. So, and I think astrology, that movement towards astrology is probably going to give the people Aquarius what they want in that, because it's going to provide that. I have a cat right above my head. It's going to provide that modality and that way of living that just naturally brings about growth and understanding of oneself, so you can maneuver and make changes how you want to in order to produce the best outcome. So switching a lot of things. I'm on another book. So I've had this for a while. I've looked it up. Like, I've used it more of a reference book, but now I'm digging really deep because I'm going into runes and things like that, because there we go. So this is a completely different calendar, which is, it's backwards. Blasted YouTube. Okay, so this is the birch tree, November 1st through the 28th. And this was actually the first month in the Druid calendar, because this is the precipice between death and life. And the birch tree is the symbol of this. This is how people used to connect back to nature. They programmed it into the religion, into the way of life, into the belief structure, that you were to coincide with nature and take cues from nature and be more in line with nature in order to create this I want to say symbiotic, synchronistic coexisting. So this goes through the Ogam, which is Om, the original language structure, and goes through the class, the holiday. November 1st is the Celtic New Year. The rune is Bergano or Bergana, which is the one that's shaped like a bee. Growth, fertility rites, rebirth, new life, gestation, and nourishment. The seed in the earth promising new life in the spring. Okay, and then you go through, and it states the astrology as well, which is Scorpio. And I create is the saying for Scorpio. It gives you meditations and whatever else to go through and whatever else. And then and then Sagittarius. Although it's different, November 29th through December 26th, but in Sagittarius, it's November 22nd to December 22nd. So there's a little bit of difference here. There used to be 13. There used to be 13. Okay, so I'm really digging on this book. I'm studying the runes that go along with this. And so trying to weave together a structure system here. And also the goddesses are all referenced in here too. Like, I don't think I'm pronouncing it right. It looks like Hygeia, but it's not. It's Hygeia? I'm not sure. But yeah, they reference all the different goddesses in here as well. So that's pretty interesting. Okay, so tomorrow I'll probably do something a little bit like more plantish because it is the new moon in Aries, that breaking of the seed that you planted back in the fall. So I'm going to get into some reads today. Capricorn. What's the other one? Pisces. Pisces and Capricorn I'm going to do today. For those of you going through your Saturn return. Okay? Okay. I love you. I'll see you in a little bit. Until next time, keep your flame.